Nation host Tomi Lahren and Fox News contributor Joe Concha. So, ladies first, Tomi, who's going to be the winner for 2022?
Boy, I hope the winner is the American people. I hope it's freedom, because that was certainly a big loser in 2021. And I won't even say it was Republicans or patriots or people that value their personal and medical freedom. I would say it's Americans as a whole, because whether you voted for Joe Biden or you didn't, in 2021, under the leadership of this administration, you were a loser. So I hope in 2022, we all become winners, not only with our gas prices and our store supply shelves, but also when it comes to freedom and personal choice. And the only way we can ensure that is to fight for our freedoms and make sure we stop hemorrhaging them away for the protection of the federal government, which we know has been failing at every turn.
I like that. Joe, who are your winners?
Wow. Beauty before age, I think, is the saying we want to say here, Katie. Look, common sense is my winner, all right, for this year. Because remember what we endured during this past craptastic year. A president trying to convince us that spending trillions of additional dollars via Build Back Better actually costs, whispers, yellow $0, looks down, right? So look, that kind of spending would lower inflation and reduce the deficit. That argument will go down as the worst con job we've heard since, tobacco executives trying to tell us that smoking wasn't addictive. But in 2022, we're going to see more parents, for instance, reject the likes of critical race theory, as we saw in Virginia. We're going to see refunding the police, not defunding the police. We're going to see Nancy Pelosi retired for good as House Speaker. Her legacy probably in tatters, because Americans will reject her party's attempts to expand government into every aspect of American life. It all, to win in 2022, Republicans just have to be pragmatic, right? Make common sense arguments and forget riding a wave. We're looking at a red tsunami in November, given the situation with inflation, crime, education, and the border, Katie.
Well, Tomi, when there are winners, there are, of course, losers. So you've chosen a loser for 2022.
The loser is going to be tyranny. And I'm not even just going to say Democrats, because if Democrats would wisen up and go the way of Kyrsten Sinema or Joe Manchin, they could actually be winners if they come back to the moderate side and think critically and think with freedom first. But I think tyranny is going to be the loser. I think after 2 years of doing the same thing over and over again and it not solving the COVID problem, which our president has admitted there is no federal solution, I think tyranny is going to lose. And I hope that the winners are the American people, because when tyranny loses, the American people win. But like I said before, it is up to us. It's not just Republicans. It's up to Republicans to vote in America First candidates, but it's up to all of us to reject that tyranny and understand that the government's not protecting us, and we have to learn to protect ourselves, and we can only do that through individual rights and freedom.
All right, Joe, who's your loser? Don't be too mean.
I have, Katie, I have CNN here. There's going to be major upheaval coming there in 2022 after speaking to multiple people there, people that are in a pretty high position. Because when you lose 3 out of 4 viewers, when compared to what the network was averaging in the first month of this year, think about that. 75% of the audience is gone. When you're getting beat by TLC, HGTV, INSP, and not 1 but 2 Hallmark channels, changes need to be made. Look, CNN has no 9 p.m. host. They have almost no female anchors or hosts with their own programs on that network. And now a second senior producer is now being accused of sex crimes against young girls. So we have not seen an entity fold and fail like this, Katie, since, the Afghan army in Kabul. So take it to the bank. The CNN you see now will not be the CNN that we will see when we're doing a segment like this in the beginning of 2023.
All right, I'm taking it to the bank and I'm writing it down, and I'll come back to you in a year from now, Joe, and we'll see if you're right.
Thank you,
all right,
Katie.
Tomi, not everybody likes surprises, but we like surprises on this show. So what do you think is going to be a big surprise this year?
I think the biggest surprise is you're going to see so many Democrats, so many formerly woke liberals come on over to the right side of history and start making better decisions. I think wokeism is dead. I think Democrats are starting to realize that. They spend months and months lying to themselves that this president was both effective and coherent. I think they're starting to realize that he's not. And I think the biggest surprise is you're going to see so many of those former Trumpocrats come on back, and they're going to vote with their pocketbook, and they're going to have to vote red to do it.
That would certainly be a big surprise. I think that's a lot of faith you have going on with the Democrats changing their behavior, I guess. Joe, what do you think is going to happen?
Okay, so Republicans take back the House, right? That's no surprise. It's a guarantee, as we spoke about before. But here's the surprise, okay? The GOP names Donald Trump Speaker of the House. Remember, you don't have to be an elected official.
Oh.
Anybody can be it. I can, you can, Trump can. All right, stick with me here, okay? He accepts the job just so he can sit behind Joe Biden during the State of the Union and make Trumpian faces when the president tries to take credit for something, or, you know, or pushes some sort of like AOC-like policy, right? Trump then, as House Speaker, launches impeachment proceedings against the president and vice president. Somehow those succeed, which means the Speaker of the House, him, is now president. And yes, I am, you know, 100% kidding about this. Kind of. Well, maybe. I don't know. It's Trump. It could happen.
I hope you're right. The faces behind the State of the Union would just be hilarious. Memes for days. Joe and Tommy.